Charlie, me, I dey invest all my tier 3 pension funds with Sims. Yes, Sims, Stanbic Investment Management Services. Even when the financial sector was shaking and people were not getting access to their money, I was smiling because I had 24/7 access to my money. No long things, invest with Sims now.
Today is a happy day. It's been 10 solid years of investment. Postpone enjoyment today for a better tomorrow and trust your future in the hands of the investment professionals. Call Sims on 18080 MTN toll free, 0800 10009 Vodafone toll free, or 0302 815 789. Stanbic Investment Management Services, your investment specialist.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure in welcoming you to the 9th Annual General Meeting of the Stanbic Cash Trust, which I now declare open. I now call upon the Secretary to read the notice of the meeting.
Notice of Virtual Annual General Meeting of Stanbic Cash Trust. Notice is hereby given that the 9th Annual General Meeting of the unit holders of Stanbic Cash Trust, the Fund, will be held virtually on Friday, 15th July at 12 p.m. and shall be streamed live to all unit holders from Stanbic Heights, Plot 215, South Liberation Link, Airport City, Accra, for the transaction of the following business. Agenda 1. To receive the reports of the manager of the fund for the year ended December 31, 2021. 2. To consider the trustees' reports and the reports of auditors for the year ended December 31, 2021. 3. To receive and adopt the audited financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2021. And 4. To authorize the manager to fix the remuneration of the auditors. Dated June 22, 2022, by order of the manager, Stanbic Investment Management Services Limited, on behalf of the trustee, Universal Merchant Bank. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Amajin, for a briefer. The first item on the agenda is to receive the report of the manager of the fund for the year ended December 31, 2021. I call upon Ms. Brenda Kissy to read the report of the manager to unit holders.
Thank you very much. Dear unit holders and partners, you are welcome to the 2021 Annual General Meeting of Stanbic Cash Trust, SCT or Fund. SCT returned 13.7% for the period under review, a 90 basis points above its benchmark return of 12.8%. The fund ended the year with assets under management, AUM, of 638 million Ghana cedis. The worsening pandemic dynamics threatened the expected strong recovery of the global economy in 2021 in developing countries. New strands of the COVID-19 virus emerged, causing supply chain bottlenecks, especially in the developed markets in the year's second half. Moreover, inflationary pressures continued to mount, making policy choices more difficult. As a result, the IMF's initial global growth guidance of 6.1% was subsequently revised downward to 5.9% in 2021. With some looming uncertainties around the forecast, central banks seem to have maxed out on stimulus policy support, hinting at a reversal of easy money tools in favor of inflation targeting. In Ghana, the spillover in global inflationary pressures and the recovery of economic activities toward pre-pandemic levels saw the central bank increase its benchmark policy rate from 13.5% to 14.5% in November 2021. The fiscal and debt position of the economy continued to be a concern to the managers of the economy as they explored measures to improve revenues and reduce foreign debt accumulation. Stimulus packages and easy money tools saw growth in the U.S., saw by an average of 6.5% in the first half of 2021, as consumer spending recorded strong growth. However, the impact of the Delta variant of the COVID-19 virus subdued growth to 5.7% at the end of the year. The inflationary risk was also stickier than initially anticipated, which saw the U.S. Fed move from a hesitancy posturing to that of discussions on potential rate hikes and market tapering in 2022. The euro area bounced back to a growth of 5.3% in 2021 after tiptoeing around economic reopening earlier in the year. China continued its strong growth, averaging 8.1%, beating the 6% growth forecast for 2021. Pandemic-related supply-demand mismatches and higher commodity prices compared to their low base from 2020 posed a severe risk to inflationary targets of advanced economies. CPI readings hovered around 5% in Europe, the US, and some emerging markets. These developments kept gold prices broadly within pandemic levels as investors hedged against inflation. The IMF expects the inflationary pressures to subdue in 2022. However, in some emerging markets and developing economies, these may persist into the medium term. Ghana's economic activities continue to improve to pre-pandemic levels as global economy relaxed COVID-19 related restrictions, and the vaccinations drive continued in the country. This was driven by improved port activities, sea and air, construction, and industrial consumption. As of December 2021, the economy had expanded by an average of 5.4% compared to 0.4% in 2020. However, inflationary pressures persisted, driven by the pass-through effect of taxes, base effect from the prior year, and acute food shortage in the northern part of the country. Overall headline inflation as of December 2021 was 12.6%, above the 10% capped medium-term target of the central bank. The Eurobond issuance and the favorable trade position saw the relative stability of the currency within the year until the last quarter of 2021, when foreign investors began selling off their positions. The cedi depreciated by 4.1% in 2021 compared to 3.9% in the prior year. Lower than expected non-oil tax revenues due to economic scarring from the pandemic saw a 3% revenue shortfall at the end of 2021. Fiscal concerns persisted despite the introduction of various taxes to rake in revenues. Consequently, the fiscal deficit widened to 9.7% from the program 9.5%. The stock market recorded a robust performance, returning 44% on the broader market index in 2021, better than that of 2020. The gradual recovery in key sectors of the economy improved the financial positions of some of the equities, contributing to the year's performance. Telecommunication, banking, and petroleum stocks broadly drove the market performance and activities. Concerns around Ghana's debt sustainability and rate hike expectation in advanced economies saw foreign investors sell off across local and Eurobond markets in the last quarter of 2021. As a result, medium-term bond trading at around 17 to 19% ended the year at approximately 17 to 20.8%. We believe yields will continue to be elevated. However, in local institutional investors, near natural demand for government securities will likely moderate any yield surge. On the investment and performance of the scheme, assets under management as of 2021 were 638 million Ghana cedis, which was 38% above that of 2020. The fund's growth in 2021 was driven by earnings of 51.9% and net cash flows of 48.1%. At the end of 2021, 81.7% of the fund's assets was invested in government and quasi-government securities, 12.2% in other money market instruments, and 6.1% in cash and near cash for liquidity purposes. On the fund returns, the fund's 2021 return was 13.7%, which was a 90 basis point above the benchmark return of 12.8%. The strategic position taken in high-yielding 6-month to 1-year government and quasi-government papers accounted for the outperformance of the benchmark. Net investment income increased by 64% to 84 million Ghana cedis from the 51 million Ghana cedis recorded in the prior year. On outlook and strategy, the potential downside risk to global economic growth in 2020 include an outbreak of different strains of the COVID-19 virus, persistence of global supply chain bottlenecks, and inflationary pressures. Multiple consensus predict a base case of 4% growth in 2022, lower than the 5.5% recorded in 2021 by the World Bank. In developing and frontier markets like Ghana, debt sustainability and fiscal constraint space, exacerbated by pandemic, should continue to pose a medium-term risk. The 2022 budget signaled a bold stance by the managers of the economy to address revenue weakness through broad-based tax measures and expenditure cuts. Noticeable among these fiscal measures are the renegotiation of energy sector IPP contracts, various expenditure cuts in government agencies, state-owned enterprises and state ministries, and the introduction of the electronic levy, e-levy, with the potential to rake in about 4.5 billion Ghana cedis. These measures are forecasted to improve the fiscal position to 7.4% in 2022. However, government remains doubtful due to the delays in implementing the taxes. The Ministry of Finance also anticipates a further improvement in the fiscal position to the 5% cap by 2024. The increasing prices pressures from global spillover, especially the Russian-Ukraine war, will continue to fuel a surge in the prices of commodities, and coupled with some domestic drivers, will continue to pose a risk to the central bank's medium-term inflation target of 6 to 10%. The forecasted GDP growth of 5.8% in 2022 should not be far-fetched as the industrial sector shows signs of recovery. We expect pressures on the currency at least in the first quarter of 2022 as the government deviates from its usual activity on the Eurobond market, given higher borrowing costs. In addition, capital outflows, that is dividend paid by multinationals and foreign investors unwinding existing positions, should pose some risk to the cedi's performance. However, intervention by the central bank will play a critical role in mitigating a potential steep currency depreciation during this period. Nevertheless, we expect the government to explore alternative external funding sources, such as the IMF SDR and syndicated loans from commercial banks to support its activities. We expect at least 4 rate hikes from the United States Federal Reserve in 2022. This should see foreign investors unwind their positions across emerging markets, including Ghana, increasing medium to long-term yields during the year. On the stock market, the momentum is expected to slow down in 2022. Market participants will closely monitor the impact of the new taxes and currency performance on key stocks. Such hesitancy will contribute to the sluggish performance, at least in the first half of 2022. Based on these developments, our strategy in 2022 is to continuously monitor the yield curve and take advantage of short to medium high-yielding Government of Ghana papers to boost the fund returns whilst minimizing the overall risk. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kissy. The next item on the agenda is to consider the trustees' report. I now call upon Mr. Epelfoa to read the trustees' report for the year ended December 31, 2021.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good afternoon, our esteemed unit holders. In our opinion, according to the information made available to us and the explanations provided, we confirm that in all material respects, the manager has managed the scheme during the period covered by these financial statements in accordance with the trust deed dated 6 November 2011 and all regulations for the time being in force under the Securities Industry Act 2016, Act 929, and the Unit Trust and Mutual Funds Regulations 2001, LI 1695. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Foa. I will now ask Mr. Samuel Abiel, Auditor Baker Tilly Under and Under, to read their report. Yes, sir.
Independent auditors report to the members of Stanbic Cash Trust. Report on the audit of the financial statements. Opinion. We've audited the financial statement of Stanbic Cash Trust, which comprised the statement of assets and liabilities as at 31st December 2021. Present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of the fund as at 31st December 2021 and its financial performance and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with international financial reporting standards and in the manner required by the Securities Industry Act 2016, Act 929, the Unit Trust and Mutual Funds Regulations, 2001, LI 1695, and the Trust Deed dated 6th November 2011. Basis for opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing, as ICES. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statement section of our report. We are independent of the fund in accordance with the International Code of Ethics for professional accountants, including international independent standards, the code issued by the International Ethics Standard Board for Accountants, IESBA, and we fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with the code. We believe that the audit evidence we've obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters that, in our professional judgment, were of most significance in our audit of the financial statements of the current period. They are matters to be addressed in the context of our audit of the financial statements as a whole and informing our opinion thereon, and we do not provide a separate opinion on those matters. There were no material key audit matters to report. I'll skip the other information than that of responsibilities of the manager of the financial statement, then move to auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements. The objectives of our audit are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statement as a whole are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with ICES will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if individually or in aggregate they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users taken on the basis of these financial statements. As part of an audit in accordance with ICES, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the planning and performance of the audit. We also identify and assess the risk of material misstatement of the financial statements, whether due to fraud or error, design and perform an audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtain audit evidence that is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is high than for one resulting from error, as fraud may include collusion, forgery, intentional omissions, misrepresentations, or the override of internal control. Obtain an understanding of internal control relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the entity's internal control. Evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of the accounting estimates and related disclosures made by management. Conclude on the appropriateness of management use of the going concern basis of accounting, and based on the audit evidence obtained, whether material certainty exists related to events or conditions that may cast significant doubt on the fund's ability to continue as a going concern. If we conclude that a material uncertainty exists, we are required to draw attention in our auditor's report to the related disclosures in the financial statement, or if such disclosures are inadequate, to modify our opinion. Our conclusions are based on the audit evidence obtained up to the date of our auditor's report. However, future events or conditions may cause the fund to cease to continue as a going concern. Evaluate the overall presentation, structure, and content of the financial statements, including disclosures, and whether the financial statements represent the underlying transactions and events in a manner that achieves fair presentation. We are required to communicate with the manager and the trustees regarding, among other matters, the planned scope and timing of the audit, and significant audit findings, including any significant deficiencies in internal control that we identify during our audit. We look at the report on other legal and regulatory requirements. Compliance with the requirements of Part 9 of Schedule 8 of the Unit Trust and Mutual Funds Regulations 2001, LI 1695, we confirm that we've obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purposes of the audit. In our opinion, proper books of accounts have been kept by the fund so far as appears from the examination of those books. The fund's financial statements are in agreement with the books of accounts. In our opinion, the fund generally complied with the relevant provisions of the Securities Industry Act 2016, Act 929. The engagement partner on the audit resulting in this independent auditor's report is Samuel Abiel, signed on the 29th of April 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abiel. I now call on Mr. Ni Ashifununu to present the highlights of the audited financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2021.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
The fund expenses grew to 17.8 million in 2021 from 10.2 million in 2020. The strong growth in total income by 50.5 million in 2021 ensured the strong increase in our net investment income. Total income grew to 101.8 million in 2021 from 61.3 million in 2020. Recording a 66.1% increase year on year. This was on account of an increase in interest income, which was driven by investment in our short-term Government of Ghana securities in line with the strategy of the fund. The net assets also increased by 37.5% in 2021. In 2020, it was 75.2%. This was driven by the significant increase in our total investments to 44.44 million in 2021. Notable was the increase in our money market instruments to align with the investment of the strategy and the projected outlook of the fund. The fund's units also increased to 55.39% in 2021. In 2020, we recorded 35.95%. The value of units issued increased by 74.3% in 2021. In 2020, it was 81.8. The fund price increased by 13.5% year on year. So in 2021, the fund price was 5.03. In 2020, was 4.43. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Nunu. The next item on the agenda is the consideration of the Fund Manager's Report for adoption. I now call on Ms. Amma Abrifa to take us through the comment and voting process on the motions put forward.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Steps to comment or ask questions. So to second the motion, send a comment or to ask a question, kindly locate the chat box at the right side or bottom side of your screen. Type and submit your comments and questions there. To cast your vote, we have provided two options to enable you partake in the voting exercise in real time. To vote via the online platform, kindly locate the vote box on the bottom of your broadcast screen and follow these steps. You enter the unique token number used to join the meeting. You click on the Cast Your Votes button. Once you have done this, you will see a list of the resolutions to be voted for. Follow the voting process by clicking the plus sign and then select your voting option. Alternatively, to vote via short code, you dial *899*3# on your phone. You enter the unique code used in joining the meeting again. Once you've done this, you can now select your vote option and send. You cannot vote once the chairperson closes the vote. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Abrifa. I hereby move that the Fund Manager's Report for the year ended December 31, 2021, and submitted to the meeting, be and is hereby received and adopted. Would someone please second this motion? To second, kindly go to the chat box, type your full name, and then type seconded.
Seconded by Emmanuel Edu, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Motion seconded. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting?
No questions, Madam Chair.
I now open the online platform for voting on the motion to adopt the Fund Manager's Report for the year ended 2021. Voting is closed. Thank you. I declare that the motion has been duly carried. I hereby move that the trustees' report for the year ended 2021 and submitted to the meeting be and is hereby received and adopted. Would someone please second this motion?
Chair, the motion was seconded by Salome Dansoa Asante.
Thank you. Motion seconded. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting? Ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the inconvenience again. We've still been having issues with power fluctuations all morning. Sorry about this. We are about to vote, so I will now open the online platform for voting on the motion to adopt the trustees' report for the year ended 2021. Thank you. I declare that the motion has been duly carried. I hereby move that the statements of assets and liabilities accounts as of December 31, 2021, together with the income and distribution account and the auditor's report thereon for the year ended on that date and submitted to the meeting, be and are hereby received and adopted. Would someone please second this motion?
Motion seconded by Agnes Azimbela.
Thank you. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting?
Madam Chair.
I now open the online platform for voting on the motion to adopt the financial statements report for the year ended 2021. closed. Thank you. I declare that the motion has been duly carried. The next item on the agenda is to fix the remuneration of the auditors, Baker, Tilly Under and Under, in respect of the year ending December 31, 2022. In line with best practice and as mentioned at last year's AGM, I hereby take this opportunity to move that the manager be and is hereby authorized to fix the remuneration of the auditor for the year ending December 31, 2022. Would someone please second this motion?
Seconded by Nuella Preciosa Dasa.
Motion seconded. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I now open the online platform for voting on the motion to fix the remuneration of the auditors for the year ending 2022. I declare that the motion has been duly carried. Are there any questions in the chat room?
So the two questions, well, there's a question and the second one is a comment. So I think I'll start with that. So the comment says that the timing of the meeting doesn't favor Muslims because they'll have to break off for Friday prayers. So this should be considered the next time. The question is the fund's current return catching up to the current inflation rate?
Thank you. Would ask the manager, Ms. Kisi, to answer.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Since the beginning of the year, we have seen a persistent and gradual increase in inflation rate compared to that of interest rate. As we speak, inflation is almost 30%. Average interest rate is below that. What the fund is currently doing is to strategically take positions in high-yielding instruments or securities in order to try and catch up or bridge the gap between the fund returns and inflation. Thank you.
Ms. Kisi, any more questions? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the manager for the Stanbic Cash Trust, I would like to thank you for your continued interest in the fund. I hereby declare the meeting formally closed.
Charlie, me, I invest all my tier 3 pension funds with Sims. Yes, Sims, Stanbic Investment Management Services. Even when the financial sector was shaking and people were not getting access to their money, I was smiling because I had 24/7 access to my money. No long things. Invest with Sims now.
Today is a happy day. It's been 10 solid years of investment. Postpone enjoyment today for a better tomorrow and trust your future in the hands of the investment professionals. Call Sims on 18080 MTN toll free, 0800 10009 Vodafone toll free, or 0302 815 789. Stanbic Investment Management Services, your investment specialist.